It's finally time to get comfortable. Not so much for this preview guide, but for one of my anime in it. But this has been a relatively straightforward season so far already. There's not really been some terrible shows. Hopefully today's shows won't prove me wrong on that, but having seen them already, I'm hopeful that you'll agree with me and what I think of them as well. Are there any shows which I've skipped which you've been watching yourself? I make a point not to review sequels of shows I didn't really pay attention to last time, so obviously you know Attack on Titan for me. What about you? Do you enjoy that? Let me know in the comments, because, as ever, this is a 2021 winter anime preview, from a different perspective. Now we're talking. I should really get up with this one, shouldn't I? So I'm just getting too comfy having watched Layback Camp. Easily the most comfortable show airing in Japan ever. And it's back for season 2, which is airing this season, and it's just as comfy as ever as well. See, that's the only thing I can really describe Layback Camp as. It's a nice, soft Ishiki series where a bunch of girls do camping things, and the show is very comfy. It's a show about being calm, going camping, eating food in front of a tent, sometimes with friends, sometimes on your own, great views, great scenery, gentle, calming camping. The characters are the same as before. You've got Shima Rin, who is effectively the main character. Pretty much shares that with the airhead heart of gold Nadeshiko, who they're both very fun characters. Rin has got a sort of quiet, take things in as they come at you aspect on life, whereas Nadeshiko takes everything in stride. Everything is a brand new experience, everything is so wonderful and exciting with her. She loves everything, she'll take every interest in everything which goes on. I've got no bad word to say about either of them. We do catch up with some of their best friends as well. We got Ina, who is Rin's friend, who obviously is the best of their friends as well now, who is just a nice indoorsy type girl. She's not really one for camping, but she's interested because it's something she can do with her friends. But on a cold day, she likes nothing more than sitting down in bed, not getting up, just playing games with a cute little dog. You got the two other members now, of the Outdoor Activities Club, Aoi and Chiaki, who are weird, but fun, and likeable. We each got their own little quirks and that, but they're not huge, in-your-face, this is character trait quirks. They're just characters which are slightly more zany than normal, and really nice, calm people. And again, we don't see him in this episode, but we do get to hear a bit from Rin's grandfather, the narrator, who is a real inspiration over what happens in this episode, because this episode takes us back to a start. And I'm not talking about when Rin went solo camping and met Nadeshiko for the first time. I'm about when Rin's grandfather gave her some camping gear and she decides to take him out camping because it looks interesting. We get to see what Rin was like on her first camping trip, not knowing exactly what to do, and a far way away from what she was in the first episode of the first season. Rather than being self-assured and knowing exactly what to do, she makes all the beginner mistakes which you'd expect from a beginner camper to do. But she sticks with it, she likes camping, and we get to see the other girls all are working to earn money to count their camping experiences as well. Like I said, it's not a show where a lot happens, but it doesn't need to be. Seriously, if you had a long day at work and you just want to relax, grab yourself a cup of coffee, cup of tea, a nice stew, some soup, whatever's your warming food of fancy, put your feet up and put this on. It's warming, it's comfy, it's a perfect way to end a lovely day over at Crunchyroll. Heaven's Design Team is a show which I can't think of without thinking of Heaven's Memo Pad. I'd say Heaven's Lost Property as well, as another department, and I never watched that one anyway, so that's that then. But Heaven's Design Team is a show about a design team in heaven. They're a design team tasked by God to create new creatures. All creatures, big and small. From whales to Madagascar. Creatures for every place in the world. But this is definitely not some kind of creationist fantasy of God creating the world in 3 or 4 days just a century ago. This is evolution at work. Because these heavenly beings, or I suppose I'll call them that, but I don't really look how many beings, except a little pair of angel wings on the back of one of his suits. Go about designing the creatures to meet goals. And then thinking, okay, what's the problem with that creature? That doesn't make sense. But how do we make it make sense? They design the giraffe. They design the armadillo. They design snakes and birds, which will prey on the snakes, and snakes will prey on the birds. And all this is done through a sort of tongue-in-cheek, semi-educational fashion, where we learn why certain things aren't created. Why eggshells have to be quite fragile, despite the fact a heavier eggshell would defend against predators better. The problem with that heavier eggshell is the chick will no longer be born if he can't get out of the egg. Kind of defeats the purpose. There's not a whole lot of plot here, it's just a bunch of characters talking about a bunch of animals and why they are the way they are. We get weird little demonstrations, talking about how tasty animals are. Yeah, there's one character which really likes eating their creations. Say about that what you will. One thing I will take away from the episode though, is I'm going to never look at Pegasus again in the same light. I did literally just laugh out loud at the Pegasus comments in that episode as to why Pegasus don't actually exist. And I think we should all be thankful they don't exist given what they said. So who wants to see a ginormous buff horse shitting all over the place? I don't. However, if you are interested in watching Heaven's design team, this one's airing over at Crunchyroll. A few years ago, we had a myriad of tutor anime, where an intelligent character would end up tutoring some dumb characters who would end up falling in love with them. We had a sequel to one of those shows last year, I think it was, with Bakuben Season 2. We've got a sequel to the other one now, with Quintessential Quintuplets Season 2. Everybody's favourite 5 quints are back, and they're back to fall in love and tease and generally irritate our main character, Futaro, who does have a connection with the girls. He's met most of them in the past at some point, has history with them, and of course we've got his memory girl. The girl he met in Kyoto many years ago, who he only just recently remembered, and it turns out that she was one of the quintuplets. Which one it is, we don't know, because back then they literally were identical quints. Now they're more spread out and changed their looks and are more personality driven. But back then, they basically looked and acted the same way, so whichever one he met, who knows? Maybe he met all of them. That'd be a very anime trope to do. I'm going to reintroduce to the girls. You got Itsuki, the kind of main one, the tsundere one, with a star in her hair. You got Nino, the other tsundere one, but cuter and more stylish. You got Yotsuba, the impossibly peppy one, who is definitely most likeable at first glance, but you'd tire of her quickly. You got Ichika, the more mature one who is an actress and teases the main character relentlessly. Then you got Miku, the best one, except at cooking. Don't talk about the cooking, please. Ignore the cooking. Stay away from the plate. Miku, get out of the kitchen, please. Now, if you like the first season of Quints, you're going to love the second season as well. It's basically more of the same. These 5 girls who are absolutely terrible in their classes, unlike We Never Learn, where the girls are smart, just not in the subjects they want to be, in Quints, the girls are all relatively bad at education in all subjects, whereas Futaro is very good in all subjects and is trying to tutor them in order to help them enter and live respective lives. So that each of them end up falling for him in their own way, and he ends up liking them all as well. But which one is he going to end up with? Who knows? Hopefully anime doesn't do a cop-out ending where he picks all 5 of them and we have a polygamous marriage, because in anime, polygamy fixes everything apparently. And with the original story coming to an end recently, I wouldn't be too surprised if this anime does the same thing and actually brings us to a closure. It definitely looks to be going in that direction, since there's a lot of final season flags being raised in the first episode, with him trying to remember his memory girl, some mysterious person in the hospital talking to him as if, "You are our only hope, young man." But Quince's show was anticipating. I really enjoyed the first season, more than I did We Never Learn actually, which was good. And if you want to watch Quince, you can find it airing over at Crunchyroll. 2.43 Seiin High School Boys Volleyball Team is a sports anime. There's not much more to say about that really. Thanks for watching. No. Well, it's an anime about a guy called Uni, who's a very much laid back main character. Doesn't really do sports, is very much peer pressured into doing weird stuff. Not too intelligent, not too smart, not too dumb either, just a normal main guy. His childhood friend Shika returns back to his area for various reasons, which I'm sure we'll get into later on in the series. and joins a volleyball team, which Uni's also in. Kinda. The volleyball team's very much an absence from school right now. They don't really go to it, it's just a go-home club type of club. Until Chica joins anyway, in which case the volleyball team get back together and start practicing again. Although, with Uni being peer pressured so easily, how far that'll go, I've no idea. Now, I can't really go into too much detail about 2.43 because there's not a whole lot of detail to go into. You've got some generic bully type characters, which are bullying Uni into not doing anything. Basically, you used to be cool until you started doing sport. And you got Chica, who is aggressively obsessed about the sport. Too much if you ask me. I'm not going to say this is a bad sports anime, it's a very good one actually. It looks standard sports affair of a high quality. It's just, there's nothing drawing me to it either. There's no real hooks, there's no real games. It's just boys doing volleyball. Watch and play. Well animated. The characters are interesting. There's going to be drama. But it's probably not for me. However, if you are interested in boys volleyball, feel free to check it out on Funimation. No real surprises today then. Well, Hortensia was a nice surprise, it's a decent show. Not a best show, but it's decent and probably worth a watch. And the rest of the shows weren't bad either. What did you think of them? Am I completely off the mark with them? Or do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments, and join me next time we'll look at 4 new shows. Until then, bye bye.